These are the red flags you should watch out for before joining any solar company. Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the best solar channel on the planet. My name is Ivan, and for the past 5 years, I've dedicated my life and soul into solar, going from having one of the biggest lead generation agencies in the space to scaling multiple sales teams selling over the phone. Now, why did I feel compelled to record this video? Is because I get reminded all of the time of how people are wasting their time working for solar companies that don't have their best interest in mind, and a lot of the times are being taken advantage of because they don't know any better. So let's talk about what are the red flags you should watch out for before starting to work for any solar company. Now, the majority of the people that get taken advantage of in solar are basically new reps, people that don't know anything about the industry. They're just hungry to make money. They've come from a different industry, maybe a sales background, maybe not, but they found out the opportunity of what solar has to offer, and most of the time they believe that if they join a solar company, they're gonna learn the secrets of the trades, or they're gonna learn how everything works in solar, how to sell, how to generate leads, and the whole 9 yards. What's happening is they're just looking at you as a sacrificial lamb most of the time. They use your time, effort, and energy for you to go out there, learn how to knock doors, and actually bring deals on the board for their company, and as a result, you're getting paid peanuts. That's why I have so many videos on the channel educating you on the topic. So if you're brand new, make sure subscribing and check out all the other 300 plus videos that I have on this channel that would absolutely benefit you to crush it in the space. Now, the first really huge red flag for me is the low transparency. There's almost none, because what happens usually is you get started and you just learn to do one specific action. You don't know anything about all the other process and how it works. You just learn about, hey, you got to go do this. You got to have this mindset, and then you're going to knock 100 doors a day or 200 doors a day, and then we're going to fly you out and you do blitzes and do this and do that. Your knowledge is very limited. You join a brand new industry. You're excited to make money, but then what happens is you, as a result, get exploited because of your lack of knowledge and because you don't really understand how the game's really played. Because I'm going to tell you that if you knew how the game was played, you would have been making a lot more money than if you were a part of this company that you started with, simply because of the fact that installers do not care if you're a team of 5, 10, or 20 people where you're a lone wolf. They're just happy to take on your deals. And that's really how it works. If you're going to start out with knocking because you don't have any funds or you have more time than money, that's fine. You starting out with knocking, I'm cool with that. But at least be presented with the facts. And the facts are that it's actually not that complicated to get a solar installer to install your deals without being a part of a sales org if they're not doing anything to bring you appointments on the calendar, or at least qualified leads that you can talk to. If you're going to go out and generate your own leads and your own deals, then why does it make sense to leave more than 50% of your paycheck to that company? It just doesn't make sense. The only reason why it makes sense to work with a company is so that they provide either leads or appointments. There's no other reason for being a part of a company that's going to take more than half your paycheck and they're not going to give you anything in return. And talking about paychecks is my next huge red flag that I would want you to watch out for before deciding whether or not you should work with that solar company, is that they have a really low commission structure on self-gens, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I had somebody that I spoke to the other day that had sold 22 deals. Half of them were self-gens, and he got paid a staggering $1,800. And at that point, I had heard anything in the industry. I mean, I had heard people get ripped off left and right, but that was a precedent. I did not know that you can get screwed up like that so much so that you don't get almost anything. $1,800 for 22 deals that you've closed, half of them of which you actually generated yourself. That doesn't make any sense. I told him, hey, if you brought those 22 deals to my company, I would have paid you. And by the way, you wouldn't have had to lift a finger. We would have done all the appointment setting, all the closing, all the follow-up, and I would have paid you $2,000 a deal for doing nothing. Why? Because I didn't have to come out of pocket to pay Facebook or somebody else in order to generate the leads. I get those referrals that are highly interested in going solar for nothing. So I have no problem paying them $1,000 to $2,000. So I was like, hey bro, listen, if you send me those deals to me, I would have paid you $44,000. And he couldn't believe it. And I'm like, that's why you should be educated before you decide who you want to work with. Because in his case, it wasn't even half of his paycheck. It was 90+% of his paycheck, which is absolutely mind-boggling. And my last huge red flag is the company that you work with not being clear about how commissions are actually being calculated. Because in every solar deal, you should have the capacity to make anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000 minimum on a deal. And if that is not the case, this is on self-gens, by the way. And if that is not the case, there is something horribly going wrong with what you're doing. So I encourage every single one of you watching this video to do your due diligence, do your research, and actually hire somebody like myself or another coach that will show you everything you need to know about the industry, instead of just running around like a headless chicken, not knowing what's going on and just being taken advantage of left and right. If that brought some clarity to you, give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I have over 300 videos solar related on this channel that will help you massively succeed in the solar industry. So consider subscribing, and I'll see you again in the next video.